Hello, my friends. Simona Cochi, The Italian Way. Welcome in this special playlist tributed to Florence Biennale 15 editions. In a few seconds' time, I will be absolutely overwhelmed by the relevance of these artists. I'm talking about Emily Young, and she is a renowned British sculptress described by the Financial Times as Britain's greatest living stone sculptor. At the 15th Florence Biennale, she is one of the 7 international guests of honor, and she will receive the President's Lorenzo il Magnifico Award. Her artistic philosophy seeks to bring humanity and the planet closer together, exploring a timeless connections that transcends history, geography, and culture. So, welcome to Emily Young. And finally, I'm here with Emily Young. Amazing.
Ciao, buongiorno.
Hi, how are you?
Very happy.
Yeah, I know. You just received the award, Lorenzo il
A
Magnifico.
beautiful award in a very wonderful place. Yeah.
Oh,
Firenze, amazing.
yeah, but also your works are absolutely amazing.
Inspired categorically by the Florentine tradition, which then goes back to the Greek tradition. So I'm just carrying on a very nice tradition. But I want it to be, I want it to move through, it's a good tradition, carving stone. It's
Yeah,
important.
absolutely, because we know that you merge the ancient and the contemporary, combining traditional carving skills with modern technology to create works that are both poetic and monumental. Am I right?
That's true. Yes, that's what I've said. Yes, it is true. Yeah, that's where I aim. I aim there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And also, as I mentioned in the introduction, you come from UK, and Financial Times has described you as the Britain's greatest living stone sculptor, and this is absolutely amazing.
It's very kind of them. This is, I'm
Yeah,
very,
but I can see from everybody can see your majesty in craftsman, such an incredible material that is stone.
uh, thank you. Yes, that's very kind. It's a good tradition to be part of. But also, I want to say that it's also the tradition is part of the human relationship with the planet, so that when you carve a piece of stone in these days, you are also carrying on a tradition that started 3 million years ago, when our ancestors first started to work with little chips of stone that had sharp edges, and they could make the sharp edges sharper, and this made it easier to take meat from bone when they were hunters and gatherers in those distant days, 3.3 million years ago. So it is a long tradition of making things in stone. And the thing about the stone is it endures. It goes on for generations into the future. So who knows what the future of the planet will be? Not possible to know. But we know what has happened in the past. And we know that huge shifts of consciousness arrive, and humanity changes its perception of itself on Earth. The gods that we've had in the past, many of whom, as far as I can see, are still up and running, and it's a very, very good idea to have a good God running your moral life, and this thing of living a moral life, I think, is incredibly important.
Absolutely.
Don't work for money. Work for love. For good, for the benefit of the community across the planet. And these days, it is possible for people all over the world to be speaking the same language. and to share more and more about what the personal aspiration is. And then the thing about the personal aspiration is that, as I like to say, that in fact all the humans on Earth are actually versions of the same creature, the same person. We are all the same person. We're Homo sapiens, and we all function in very, very close connection with each other. We think we're independent. It's not true. There's no such thing as one individual. Always there is a family, there's a community. And the idea that that the individual is separate, this is very hard for people to experience and to see. The military-industrial complex requires people to be alienated from their capacity to be together with all the other humans and all the other creatures on Earth, all the other life forms on Earth. All of these people. I think of all the life forms on Earth are people, and the stone is a very quiet life form with a very, very long time frame. But in there, what you can feel is that time surrounds us, but we experience it in very, very short moments. That the brain's capacity to think and feel in the moment is quick. Also, though, then we can change. We can change our point of view, and that we can maybe think that it is more important to have a healthy planet, to work very, very much stronger towards having healthy communities where we don't need to fight each other. The fear factor, to me, inside of people's hearts and thinking is huge. Most people are afraid of stepping outside of a safe place, but manifestly when there is a war, but also just in everyday culture. I'll stop there.
No,
Yeah.
it's so interesting what you're saying also, because you're saying that have certain ideas, and I want you to comment on that, because I think that we are stepping in a ugliness era with all these words. And to me, without arts, there is only ugliness, because everything I can perceive as healing and beautiful, it comes from the energy and the sensation that nature and arts give me.
I agree completely. It seems to me that with a very small shift of attention, it's absolutely possible for humanity to behave more coherently with the planet. The planet will benefit, and the humans will absolutely benefit. We don't need a lot of money. We don't need a lot of industrial complications. We don't need to do everything through AI. The levels of intelligence of the children who use AI, they go crashing down because they're not imaginative. If we can imagine another way of doing things, and with my piece here, he's called the Sun King, Dreams of Peace. Okay, so the sun is actually our God. He created our solar system. Without the sun, the world, our solar system does not exist. And so I say the Sun King dreams of peace. So this is the face of the Sun King, who is quiet. In fact, this is bronze. The original was made of giallo di Siena stone, which is gold. It is gold and white, which is the colors of the daytime of life. So I think we can imagine it. I think the job of an artist is to imagine a better way that actually is true. It's not just an imagination, it's actually true. We are manifestly not doing very well on Earth at the moment. It is absolutely obvious also that there are many, many alternative ways that are better. And we can point in that direction. There's so much stupidity that has lifted itself to the top of the top of the jug of life on Earth. I won't name names, but we all know who those people are.
Yeah.
They are not necessarily there, and the ordinary people the things that are important to us, our family, do we live in a clean environment? Are our friends okay? Is our family okay? That is not a complicated thing to organize to make better, if there is the will to do it. I believe there is. I believe scratch anybody except for the complete psychopaths who are in need of help. I'm very sorry for the people who are so deluded that they are so destructive and they think that it's a good idea. Well, that they need to be in the asylum, getting treatment. But normal people, you ask them what they want in their lives, and it's simple. Comfort, security, trust. To know who you're talking to, that they're not high on horrible drugs that are going to make them kill, and or want to make a war is the worst thing, of course. I mean, beyond personal. But there are people who want war, and I think they just need to, send them to a mental hospital as quickly as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And how you interact with the theme, the sublime essence of light and darkness, for Biennale this year.
Well, yes, this is the debate between the light and the darkness. Light is born out of darkness. I think that is true. Some of the oldest words that you can do etymologically, if you wind back words, it was day. This is one of the first words that people said, the difference between day and day and night. The night is dangerous. The day is everything. Everything is clean, is clear. You can see, you can experience all the different kinds of things that are going on, and that's a good thing. Right, there we go. And yeah, so the theme of darkness and light is I think everybody knows exactly what that is. No more fear. We don't need to have so much fear, actually. But I'm sure it'll take generations, centuries to get there. But I do believe it's there. It's available. It's an option. Yeah.
So you work not only with nature, but also your works depends mostly from emotions and what you perceive. So in this experience you had with in Florence with the Biennale, which kind of stimulus and perceptions you had from the place, from the event, and from the atmosphere you are in?
Well, Florence is Florence. It's the birth of so much incredible things: the poetry, the philosophy, the art, sculpture, architecture, but ways of thinking as well. There were many incredible intellects talking to each other, and it wasn't a big city as such, as we know a big city is now, but it was vibrant. So that is Florence to me. It is whatever is going on now has that as its background at all times, always. The Fortezza is an old building. Obviously, it used to be a fort, and now there is a battle going on of between sane people and the destructive impulse that so many humans seem to be engaging in. But when I went into the Biennale itself, inside, and I looked around, and there was so much work by so many different people, more and more women every year, and I stopped and talked to some of the women, and every person I talked to had a story about why they were making the work. There was one woman I spoke to, her son had died, and suddenly she became a painter, and the paintings are very they're so full of life and fury and anger and love, and once I know her story, the painting, and this is one of the processes that we can do when we make sculptures. That was her story. There were many other wonderful stories that I heard about why these women are making their pieces now. A lot of pain, a lot of distress, and to move through the process, thinking and emoting, and putting your full heart into something like this. I think it is priceless. It's a beautiful thing to see. What I do is I'm also putting I work a lot.
Absolutely. We want to know everything about your works. And if
So,
it's possible, we have just few minutes left, but I want to know about what you are saying about the sculpture behind you.
okay, so this is the Sun King Dreams of Peace. And so this is, we are born of the sun. Without the sun, there was no solar system, there were no planets, there was no Earth. So we are 100% dependent on the sun. So, but to me, it's a thing about being centered in your heart. That there's that this part of the human body. I'm just going to change the angle of the television thing. So it's this front part of the body where you sense what's going on. But if you bring that in, and then what you can get in your brain is there's a strength and there's a peace. It's very, very powerful. And you're not looking out for stimulation. It is part of who you are as a living body. You could be a blade of grass, but you are still full of something that is natural and very, very, very beautiful and powerful. In this case, I'm making again out of stone the head of a god who has created our universe, the one that we experience, the solar system that we have. But and this thing about being at peace and embracing what is inside you and what is outside of you, and not having a difference between them. You are at one. And this is the thing I think is incredibly important, is that we can be as one. There are all the great teachings, the religious teachings, they teach you how to do this, to be peaceful at one with the universe. And I think humans need to think about this and aim in that direction. It won't happen tomorrow, but
No,
I do think I think it's possible.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
a good way to think. Yeah.
And let's delve a little bit into technical features. And I know that you often blend traditional carving technique with new technology. And but it depends. You are doing like that with the head, so I would like that you explain us also technically, because it's a very strong work for women, and also how much does it? Yeah, you're strong, not only in the mind, also in the body, and how much it has taken you to realize the head behind you, the works.
Okay, look, it is definitely male technology. Absolutely, completely, 100% male technology allows me to carve stone. This one, as I said, is bronze, but that's also a beautiful technology, very old again. But male technology, men are very good at working out how things might work and how you can just readjust this, and then maybe a woman can use it. So I use angle grinders. They're the discs with a blade. It means I can move very quickly through material that I want. I want to remove a lot of the edge of a piece of stone, and using angle grinders. This is basically the kit, is angle grinders, which is a sharp blade that goes round and round very fast, and you use it like an extension of your own hand, and it cuts. And then you knock that little bit off, and then you cut again. Means that I can remove external parts of the block of stone quite quickly. If I was doing it all hammer and chisel, as they used to do in the olden days, it would take me forever, and basically it would be too difficult. I would be ruining all my muscles and my joints. It would be too hard. So, I say thank you very much to the engineers who invented the angle grinder, without a doubt. So, but at the same time, I want to talk about the fact that the piece of stone itself, always, when I start to work with it, I'm working with it because it has talked to me. It's sent out a little message saying, I might be a good person to work with, because there is something very beautiful in the piece. I find the pieces in quarries, and more recently, because I'm getting old and I don't go out so much, they actually just that you find something under an olive tree, under an oak tree. It's a nice lump of old stone. And where I live, it's volcanic. The stones that exist in the ground are fantastic, and every now and then they just arrive. There's a lot of rain, and suddenly outside the house there's a new piece of stone has been exposed, and on the road, something like this. I pick it up and take it home, and it will have something in it that it says, I'm going to be your partner for a bit. We're going to make something that is both very, very ancient and still and silent and from millions, if not billions of years ago. And with me, who is, I'm not ever going to be very, very old. It just doesn't happen to humans. So, but in the short time span, I can do something working with a nice piece of stone that I've found. I can do something that will outlive me completely. My name will never, be known after a few hundred years, without a doubt, but the piece of stone will stay there. Possibly as long as it's already been here.
You are already in the history, because after this, awards, and also there is you think, but you are a little bit against technology, but in the digital age you will see that your name will rebound and will become really viral, because nowadays there is another form of admiring also arts, and I think your works are absolutely incredible. Also, as from a perspective of a camera, I can see from here, and so they give you goosebumps, and it's not, only few masterpieces can rely this energy, and I can perceive from the shot and here, and I'm recording with
this is very good news. I have to say that the masters, the great teachers, that they might well have been women who were working as well, but it is the masters who taught me. You go back into the Cycladic forms, the ancient Greeks. The Romans were good, but they were basically copying the Greeks. But
definitely,
but
we
in
have to
Florence,
say,
in Florence, in those years, those centuries, the work that they did was phenomenally fabulous, and you could get the full seriousness and the pain of being human and the joy of having hope and being human. Florence. Florence is amazing.
okay.
They are still my teachers. They live in my consciousness.
And
So
this
I
is
have to say that.
absolutely very, very good for us to hear your words, and we are absolutely honored to have you here in Italy for these events. And I will say, do you have anything you want to tell us about your next events or your next projects? Because we have little time remaining.
Okay, well, we're hoping to open a Giardino di Contemplazione down towards the south of Tuscany, and we're hoping to do that so that people can come and see the pieces in situ, and you can have a cup of tea or a glass of lovely local wine.
Wow.
And a nice experience for a day out.
Yeah, a lifestyle experience blended with art by Emily Young. That's fabulous. I thank you so much for this amazing conversation.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best, and I will be following you forever.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Good questions. Okay. Thank you.